Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Seahawk Recap Show. I'm your host Ryan Koki, and welcome back to another game recap video for your Seattle Seahawks. This time it's Week 3, Seahawks versus the New Orleans Saints at home, and I just finished watching that game, and one word if I could describe this victory, it was pure dominance on all three fronts today: offense, defense, and special teams, especially. But man, 2-1 on the season. And before I ram on too much more in the intro, let's get in to recapping this week 3 matchup because it was a dominant win. If you like these videos, please consider giving it a like. It helps you know if I'm doing a good job with these videos or not. And if you would please consider subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated as I am trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of this year. The game summary: the Seahawks win 44 to the Saints 13. And let's start off with the Seahawks because they were the home team. The Seahawks had 320 total yards today, 233 yards passing, 87 yards rushing, averaged 5.9 yards per play, had 22 first downs. They went 3 for 9 on third down, didn't go for it on fourth down, had 54 total plays, 0 sacks allowed, 2 punts, 8 penalties for 70 yards given up, and 1 fumble lost by George Halani from Quincy Riley in the fourth quarter of this game when it was kind of garbage time. So that doesn't really matter. No interceptions thrown today by Sam Darnold. Played a perfect game, in my opinion. And the Seahawks ended the day off with 27 minutes and 44 seconds of possession time. And these team stats just show you it wasn't a huge game for the offensive side. The defense and special teams in this game for the Seahawks was just insane today. But the Saints side of the ball, they had 284 total yards, 205 passing, 79 rushing yards, averaged 4.1 yards per play, 21 first downs. They went 5 for 15 on third down, went 0 for 2 on fourth down, had 70 total plays, 2 sacks allowed, 6 punts, 11 penalties for 77 yards given up, 0 fumbles lost, and 1 interception thrown by Spencer Rattler today, intercepted by Dion Hendrick. This guy is just amazing, and he's a really good corner for us. So glad he's on our side now, getting him picked up from the Rams. And the Saints ended the day off with 32 minutes and 16 seconds of possession time. Ryan's focus players, and let's talk about Sam Darnold. Went 14 for 18 today, 218 yards passing, the 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Let's talk about those 2 touchdowns because one was to Jackson Smith-Njigba. We all expect that. But Corey Horton, we'll get to him in a bit, but he had a legacy game today against the Saints. I love this 5th-round pick out of Colorado State this year. He is just a menace, but I digress. Sam Darnold, man, he really showed up today. Again, game manager. This is the kind of game that you want to see from Sam Darnold, limiting mistakes, not throwing the ball into heavy traffic, and he's just very efficient on this Clint Kubiak style of offense. You want to see a lot of play action West Coast, and he loves throwing the ball over the middle. That's his bread and butter, and he did that with the Vikings a lot last year. And this is just how this kind of player unfolds. He's such a game manager at what he does in this system. It's just amazing to see. Great game from Sam Darnold, still avoiding pressure when needed and not putting himself into any trouble. Let's get to running back and let's talk about Kenneth Walker. 16 carries for 38 yards, averaged 2.7 yards per carry, had the 2 touchdowns. And honestly, Kenneth Walker just didn't really need to be, explosive today. He was a touchdown machine in this game, getting those two touchdowns off of defensive plays. One was a blocked punt, and the other one, he's just a monster. His slashing ability, especially now this year, more watching him this year, he could run in between the tackles. That was something that you never really saw last year from Kenneth Walker. He was more of an outside explosive back, but he can run in between the tackles. He loves running on that left side of the line with Gray Zabel and Charles Cross locking that down. So that's always nice to see. Would have liked to see Kenneth Walker's yards per carry go up a little bit more. 2.7 is really doesn't look great on the stat sheet, but he had a really good game. So good game from Kenneth Walker. And let's talk about wide receiver, the man of the hour, 40 Horton, 3 receptions for 32 yards, 10.7 yards per reception. The one touchdown, receiving touchdown he had. But he had a monster day on special teams, a kick return touchdown score, 95 yards in the first half. That has not happened for 10 years. That last happened in 2015 when Tyler Lockett scored a punt return touchdown. I forget what game it was, but also the thing about Torrey Horton is that he made a franchise record. He broke a franchise record. That is now the longest punt return in Seahawks history. 95 yards, and it all came off of Torrey Horton. The young rookie had a day, and man, I'm loving this guy more and more. Love him on special teams, and he had a really great day. A really great catch from Sam Darnold in the first half to secure another touchdown for the rookie. Great from him, and great from this Clint Kubiak run offense. Let's get to the Seahawks defense. Even more of stars of the show here. Let's get to D lineman Byron Murphy the second. 2 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 1 sack, no forced fumbles, and that's back-to-back weeks where he gets in and gets a sack. And man, I will say, Byron Murphy, amazing game. He is becoming the nose tackle that the Seahawks need in this season, because that was one of their weaknesses on this D line. They were wondering where they were going to get nose tackle help. Well, Byron Murphy is slotted in to be that nose tackle. So great game from him. The whole D line really showed up today. Mike Morris had a big day, and that Leonard Williams always has a big day for the Seahawks. Also, credit to DeMarcus Lawrence as well for his edge pressure today. Let's talk about DB, and let's talk about the replacement at free safety for the injured Julian Love, Ty Okada. More of a special teams player, but had 7 solo tackles, 2 assisted, half a sack, and no interceptions. And Ty Okada, man, this is the type of guy you want on your football team. Not only is he a special teams nightmare, but he came in and he played next man up next to Kobe Bryant. And you know what? He had some times in this game where you're like, oh, it's not Julian Love, so some of his coverage skills aren't as sound as Julian Love, but he really put in the work. And you know what? He did a really fantastic job. Again, you saw it in preseason this year. You see it in this game here. That guy is aggressive, and that's the same mentality that Mike Macdonald puts into his defenses, because that is what he preaches. So great game from Ty Okada. Great to see him on the field and being a suitable backup for Julian Love, in my opinion, in this game. Let's get to linebacker, and let's talk about Therese Knight. 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. Therese Knight is amazing. For the 4th-round pick out of UTAP last year, coming in. Again, what have I not said about Tyrese Knight that is already being said? He's a tackle machine. He's able to stop Alvin Kamara, who in their own right, Alvin Kamara is a hard back to bring down, but he was there making tackles on Alvin Kamara. So great to see. Good game from Therese Knight. Great to see the interior linebacker have a nice day. Let's get to the Saints and let's talk about QB Spencer Rattler, 28 for 39, 218 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, of course, by Deion Kendrick, but he had the 1 touchdown to Chris Stroll out of the fourth quarter. And you know what? Spencer Rattler, I look at this game and I watched him during this game. And you know what? He didn't have a bad day. I'm just going to say it. He did not have a bad day. This is not there's no reason why I think you should, as Saints fans, be calling for Spencer Rattler's head because he was competitive all the way through. It didn't matter what the score was. At the end of the first half, it was 38-6. And he comes out and scores a touchdown in garbage time. And, that's the sign of a competitor. If you're going to blame anybody, probably want to blame the offensive coordinator and the head coach, but that's just me. I think Spencer Rattler had a really good day and could have kept his guys in it if the Seahawks defense just wasn't as good. Let's get to running back and let's get to Alvin Kamara. 18 carries for 42 yards, averaged 2.3 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, very unrealistic kind of day from him, or uncharacteristic day from him, because he is one of the best backs in the league. And I can say that because I love watching Alvin Kamara work, even as a non-Saints fan. I really enjoy watching Alvin Kamara. I think he's a very good back, but the offensive line for the Saints was missing some pieces. And the Seahawks D-line took advantage of that and stopped Alvin Kamara in his tracks, not letting him get going. And he usually, I didn't know this, but on the broadcast, they were talking about Alvin Kamara, and there were a couple of games where the Seahawks have met the Saints, and he's run roughshod over the Seahawks in recent years, but not here today. I still think a great game, a good game from Alvin Kamara, despite the lack of stats on his side. Let's get to wide receiver Chris Olave, 10 receptions for 57 yards, averaged 5.7 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. And this is the thing with Mike Macdonald defenses. He's making sure that every time he can play zone, he's making sure that Spencer Rattler sees a picture on defense and then he immediately changes it completely up. And that caused Chris Olave to just have to basically be a dink and dunk kind of wide receiver for Spencer Rattler, because Spencer Rattler was not taking shots down the field because Mike Macdonald was daring him to take shots down the field. And every time he tried to, it just didn't end well. So Chris Olave, I think he had a decent game, but the Seahawks secondary is just better. Reek Woolen, especially Josh Jobe, this game was everywhere for this Seahawks defense and trying to lock up the very superstar wide receiver of Chris Olave. But good game from him. Let's talk about the Saints defense. Let's talk about D lineman Cameron Jordan. A very uncharacteristic day from him. Didn't really see much from Cameron Jordan, but he had 2 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. And the reason why you didn't see much of Cameron Jordan is because it was a blowout. The stats do not look great for Cameron Jordan. I think he had a couple of TFLs in there. But you know what? This is how it goes. The Saints are going to be in for a rough season, and the Seahawks offensive line was just really stout today, opening up running lanes, making sure that Sam Darnold wasn't hit nearly as much as he's been in the past couple of weeks. But good game from Cameron Jordan. Hope that his team is just a little bit better next week. But let's get to DB. Let's get to safety. Justin Reed, 4 solo tackles, no assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And looking for DBs in this game, he was basically the only bright spot for DBs. And I'm sorry to say that, Saints fans. I know that's mean, but he's the only guy that I really saw today that was really um, even remotely impressive. It really pains me to say that, but I think Justin Reed had a good game. Had a couple pass breakups in there. He got hurt in the beginning of the first quarter. I think he got a foot in his face because his helmet rode up a little bit. But he came back, still played throughout the full game, and never quit on any of the plays that he was trying to make. So good game from Justin Reed. And let's talk about linebacker Pete Warner, 7 solo tackles, 6 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But him and Demario Davis at linebacker were the only bright spots. Pete Warner, man, there's a reason why Kenneth Walker had 16 carries and only 38 yards. And that was because of guys like Pete Warner. He's everywhere on the field. He was trying to break up passes. He can only do so much. But if you're going to the second level and trying to get to the second level, Pete Warner is a very good player, and I think he had a really good game. Let's get to Ryan's final thoughts. What went well? Complete and utter domination today from all 3 facets of this game: special teams, offense, and defense. And even though JSN had an illness today, he still put up a fantastic performance. 5 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. Oh yeah, he had an illness, so we weren't sure if he was going to play for the Seahawks in this game. But even with an illness, he's able to dink and dunk and slice his way through the middle of the field where Sam Darnold always needs him to be, and he had a fantastic day today. So great to see that JSN is becoming one of the best wide receivers in the league. Everybody on this team, I think, had a great day against the Saints. And honestly, if you play like that every week offense, you're going to win a lot of football games. So, not much else to say. And what to improve on? Honestly, really can't find anything in this game that the Seahawks can kind of improve on. I mean, yes, maybe some of the penalties in the last drive for the Saints in the first half needed to be cleaned up. I know Josh Jobe got at least 3 penalties on that last drive when they were trying to, go into the locker room and get some points. But that's a thing where that's nitpicking. I think in a dominant victory of 44-13, you're gonna be hard pressed to find me nitpicking this game. Hopefully, we continue this kind of game against the Arizona Cardinals. My final thoughts. Overall, the Seahawks, again, just pure dominance on all fronts today. I'm ecstatic that they could get this win at home. And you know what? Now you go into Thursday Night Football. You have 2 games in like 4 days, and hopefully you can get some reinforcements back on the field. If this is how you played without Devin Witherspoon, without Nicky Memori, without Julian Love, I can't wait for those guys to hopefully be back for Thursday Night Football against a divisional opponent in the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be amazing. What a game today. I know I'm repeating myself, but I really loved watching this game. It was a thing of beauty. Special teams was it was just amazing. The amount of kick returns and just the energy at Lumen Field was intense to watch. For the Saints, honestly, I don't know what to say at this point. I think Spencer Rattler again had a good game. I think your defense on the run side of things had a good game. Everything else you guys need to work on. And man, it sucks because I'm really happy that the Seahawks got a dominant win, but then there's the other side where you've got to say something nice. And for the Saints, man, I hope you guys can bounce back against the Buffalo Bills and put up a better performance there, because today you guys were just not ready to play in Lumen Field. it was 38-6 in the first half, and then the game just kind of got away. So always fun playing you guys, Saints, because we don't get to do it as Seahawks fans too often. I think we've had what, 4 meetups in the last many years. So, but anyways, guys, that is it for this video for week 3 Seahawk game recap for Seahawks versus Saints. Let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about this dominant victory, going 2-1 on the season? Let's see if we can turn this little run into a 3-game win streak when we take on the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football on the road in Arizona. Anyways, take care of yourselves. Go Hawks, go, and have a good rest of your day.